Welcome to the weather forecast on Mr. Tien channel. Dear friends, in today's forecast, we're going to break down the essential information about the weather that's going to affect Australia over the next 7 days. And we're facing a lot of severe weather risks, especially around the southern half of Australia. Let's find out. We've also got some thunderstorms north of New Zealand. So, a big low, it's going to come in and sweep across the country. It's not like a severe weather trigger. High pressure, which is basically invisible, is over the country. And the next burst of energy is coming from Australia. Winter weather, and that's going to create a new big low pressure area. So that low pressure area is just starting to get here, in the southeast or southern parts of Australia, over the next few days. As that low moves towards New Zealand, the low from the north will come down, get absorbed into it along with other storms near Antarctica, and it will develop into this large low. Some of South Australia is getting heavy rain. Most of it is north of Adelaide. Hopefully it will be wet. Even some of the rain to your north is pushing into Victoria with some heavy rain as it moves east, and some of New South Wales, mainly on the western and southern borders, is getting hit from South Australia and Victoria. And the rain will be pushing into the mountains. Heavy rain is coming in the coming days, especially in the west. This could also bring heavy snow in the higher elevations. Also, Tasmania, it's getting a northwesterly wind. So most of the wet weather is pushing north and northwest. You can see thunderstorms offshore. The cold front is on its way. Colder air is on its way. And if you're in New South Wales, certainly north of Sydney, there's still some cloud around, but it'll be pushed out to sea soon. Drier, sunnier weather is coming. There's a chance of some rain in the far south of New South Wales, but otherwise it's pretty quiet, with the exception of a few showers still going on in Western WA. The heavier showers will be around Perth and Peel, and obviously around the south coast where there's some thunderstorms. Temperatures are still dropping, but you may notice over the next few days that it's not as bad as it was, at least in the Perth area. As you move east, the northwesterly winds are still going. That's why it's not quite as cold. But the temperatures will gradually drop as this low moves in and the southern part of it moves closer to you. On Wednesday, thunderstorms, heavy rain or showers with gusty winds, windy conditions in unprotected areas, and snow in the mountains. So, there's quite a lot to watch out for. We're expecting some severe weather. The heaviest rain is in Victoria. The snow is heaviest in Victoria, but there will be some heavy snow moving into parts of New South Wales and maybe even into the mountains of the Australian Capital Territory. Also around Tasmania, the polar air will be coming through tomorrow, and so the northwest winds will shift to the west and then even the southwest. Most of the rain will fall in the north and west, so if you're in Hobart, it's not looking too wet. It's cold all over Victoria now. The east will be colder on Wednesday night. Certainly the more populated parts of South Australia, there will be showers, southwest winds. Yeah, colder for you. But around Western Australia, yes, there's still some cold air left, but the showers are really tapering off and there's not going to be much wet weather in Western Australia. As this big high pressure mass over New Zealand moves out and the low pressure starts to move in. That means that as the high pressure moves out, northerly winds or at least windier conditions are coming in. That means that the freezing weather is starting to subside. So if you look at the North Island, there's just a little bit of freezing weather across the Central Plateau on Wednesday morning. By Thursday morning, it's basically just over the top of Mount Tupac and the surrounding mountains. In the South Island, the freezing areas in the south are shrinking as we get into Wednesday. The windier conditions are coming through and the freezing weather is starting to disappear. In most of the major centers of Australia, with the exception of Darwin and Cairns, most of you are in this temperate zone, like New Zealand. You feel these different air currents coming through. You'll feel a shift towards colder or more tropical. So those lines are quite important as we go through the next few months. So the cold weather will continue into Thursday. Well, not really severe weather, but there's a few thunderstorms around. There's still snow around the mountains. The colder air is coming into Sydney. But there's a lot of showers in the southern third of Australia. But those are really the most populated areas, the showers. But if you're in eastern New South Wales or around Queensland and you're really sick of the clouds and the gloom and the wet weather, it's going to be a lot drier, warmer and sunnier. By Friday, the southwesterly winds across New South Wales will be stronger as you go south, particularly from Sydney south, where there could be gusts. We're still seeing snow, sometimes very heavy, through the mountains all the way down to the ACT. We're seeing low pressure over Tasmania. Low pressure is causing instability. So heavy rain, thunderstorms are possible there, along with some snow because this is a very large cold front from the south that's coming through here, from Adelaide all the way down to Sydney. It's a polar air mass, so there will be thunderstorms, showers and strong winds. There could be gusts around Bass Strait in the northwest corner of Tasmania. But the problem is we've got a few days to figure that out and it could still move around a bit. High pressure is building up around Western Australia. By Friday afternoon, windy conditions are moving into coastal areas of South Australia and coastal areas of Victoria, as well as along the mountains in New South Wales. So if we start with what's happening in South Australia and Victoria, those winds are getting up to about 90 kilometers per hour. So that's strong gusts, damaging winds in places that can cause tree limbs to fall. Power outages. Well, not necessarily all the time because of the gusts. Sometimes it's just showers. And if you look at Tasmania, where there's a much quieter low pressure area. But the winds are also very strong as they move towards Sydney. Like Sydney down to Mimula, gusts can get up to over 130 kilometers per hour. There's definitely strong and very strong winds coming through the outback into the inland areas. Gusts up to about 90 knots. So pretty strong winds in those inland areas. On Saturday, as we head into lunchtime in the afternoon, the severe weather box is still in the southeast. This is Tasmania. Snow is forecast in the higher elevations and also strong southwesterly winds up to hurricane force. The rain could be quite heavy at times, but I don't think it's going to cause too much of a problem at this stage. And as you move into Victoria and into the New South Wales area, right up to the ACT border, there's a chance of some heavy snowfall, and again those strong gusty winds will continue from the south, although they'll ease the winds to some extent on Saturday. Not as strong as the southwesterly winds on Friday. The rain and snow showers are likely to continue across the Great Dividing Range. And then as you move further into Queensland, the southwesterly winds will be there for you. The easterlies are still blowing stronger towards Western Australia. They're getting stronger in the open areas. There could be a bit of dust blowing around you on Saturday. Let's go back to the southeast corner here. Saturday afternoon. The strongest of those, so really damaging, but that's out at sea. Lord Island could be quite gusty. The strongest winds are in the southeast. Places like Mimula and further into parts of Victoria are getting those strong winds. Bass is also blowing straight through and Tasmania is getting gale force winds. Gale force winds are even spreading to places like Toa and around other parts of Queensland as we go through Saturday. This Sunday, high pressure is going to push through South Australia. That's going to bring drier weather to you, but still some coastal showers in the south, but not many. Dry and sunny in the east. Coastal parts of New South Wales. And as you get into Queensland, you're going to get an easterly wind there. Just a few scattered showers, otherwise dry, windy. Easterly through the Northern Territory. The Northern Territory is experiencing very dry weather at the moment. So the easterly air is coming through there, bringing temperatures up in Western Australia, including Perth and Peel in the southwest, which are currently under the influence of the cold. Only Tasmania is still under the influence of the polar air to some extent. And the wind will be the main feature. Rain on the west coast and strong southwesterly winds. On Monday, Tasmania will still be in the colder air. There will be some showers around the west coast. It will be dry for most of you in the east. High pressure just over Adelaide is moving into Victoria and New South Wales. And easterly winds with the possibility of more showers are coming into Queensland. Unfortunately, these beautiful highs are breaking up the showers for some of you who are sick of them. The downside is that as the high pressure moves out into the Tasmanian Sea, the easterly winds with showers will drop. That could happen next week, but we'll have to wait a few more days to really know for you. Thank you for watching the news on Mr. Tien channel. Wish you a nice day. See you in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to our channel and leave a comment below.